What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of Dad Does Videos. We are on our back patio where we are going to unbox, assemble, demo, and review this electric power washer from Ryobi. It comes in at 1800 PSI. Now that's a little bit lower than kind of the standard 2000 to 3000 PSI that most people go with when they get a gas-powered power washer for their home. I found a good deal on this. I thought, man, I don't have to mess with gas. I don't have to mess with oil. And I'm right at about the power level that I would need to do some light jobs around the house. And that's really all that I want to do. Let's get into it. All right, so here is what's inside the box. Let's zoom in on each of these just to give you a little better idea of what's what. We've got the high pressure hose right here. We got the spray wand right there. We've got an intense high pressure nozzle. We've got the main unit right here. And as you can see, lots of feet of electrical cord. We've got a handle along with some screws. We're going to attach that to the main unit. We've got our trigger wand right here and an optional attachment if you want to add soap while you are power washing. And of course, we have to have our operator's manual and a quick reference guide. So we're just gonna follow our quick reference guide to put this thing together and get ready to use. The first step is to connect the carrying handle to the unit. Here's our carrying handle. Here are the screws that came with the pressure washer. We are just going to put our carrying handle over top of each of these screw holes right here, and then use a Phillips head screwdriver to screw our screws in. All right, so we are moving on to step 2 in the quick reference guide, where we are going to attach the spray wand to our trigger handle. Now, if you look inside the trigger wand, and hopefully you could see it here, we've got a couple little slots, one on each side, that match up perfectly with the plastic pieces on each side of the spray wand. So we're simply going to insert this end of the spray wand into the trigger handle to match up with those spots, and then push and twist to the right. And there we go. All right, moving along to the next step, where we are going to connect our hose right into our trigger handle. Specifically, we're going to take either end of our hose, and it doesn't matter which end, and we're going to connect that right into the nozzle right there. Go ahead and take the plastic covering off of the nozzle, grab an end, and we're going to insert as far as you can first, pressing on this neon part. It goes all the way in. You'll hear a little click, and then you're just going to twist the collar like that until it does not twist anymore. All right, and in our next step, we are just going to take the other end of our hose and insert it into the unit itself. Of course, we're going to take off the plastic piece that's covering the nozzle right now. And then, same as we did in the previous step, we're going to insert all the way in until it clicks, and then twist the collar. All right, so we flipped around to the other side of our unit, where we are going to have an easier time showing how to connect our just standard garden hose right into the unit. Just grab the end of the hose, put it up to this nozzle, and then in this instance, we are going to turn this collar towards us if we are on the left side of the unit. It goes counterclockwise. All right, and as you can see here, there are a few remaining items in the quick reference guide that we want to do before we plug this thing in. We already have uncoiled our garden hose to make sure there aren't any kinks. We're going to turn the faucet on, get that water going, double check there aren't any leaks, and we are going to then squeeze the trigger to make sure a steady stream of water appears. So we will have the camera going when we do all that. All right, so I don't see any leaks anywhere. We've got our water on. Let's give this thing a squeeze and see what happens. There's our stream of water coming out. Nobody said it was going to be high pressure right now because the thing's not even plugged in, but you just want that steady stream. Make sure everything's looking good before we plug this thing in. All right, so while the water is running, we are going to plug our unit in, hit the reset button, and then come back to our unit and hit that black button to turn it on. We aren't going to add a nozzle to the end of the wand just yet because I want to just turn this on, show you how it works, and then we will show you how to add a nozzle. We're turning it on now. Let's let it rip. All right, so we did that without a nozzle. Let's go through the process of adding a nozzle and see the difference it makes. Okay, so we've got everything closed down and shut off. The first thing we want to do before we add our nozzle is to engage this lockout right here. It's this red piece. There's a little tab on it. You simply grab that, pull back, and it goes right into the handle. And this basically prevents anybody from squeezing the handle while you're changing the nozzle or adding a nozzle, at least in our instance right here. Now, speaking of which, this orange piece that's been sitting in your unit is a nozzle. So we are going to take that, pull back on this brass collar right here, just like that, put our nozzle in, let the collar go back up. As you can see, it won't let you take that out. Your nozzle is installed now. All right, here we go. Hopefully you were able to tell, but that nozzle helped tremendously in showcasing what this thing can do. So what we're going to do now is get a close-up view of kind of a dirty place on our patio, use that nozzle, and then switch it to the more high-powered nozzle that came with the unit to see if we can tell a difference. All right, here we go. All right, hopefully it comes through here, but you can see that one did a really good job. Let's switch nozzles using the same method we did before. And we're gonna put our higher powered one on. All right, again, we have everything off. We have our lockout engaged. We're gonna pull back on this collar, pop that off, and here is our high powered one. Pop that in, collar's engaged. We're gonna start everything back up again. All right, let's see what this can do. Ooh, and hopefully this comes through on the camera. This one does a much better job. So hopefully you could tell as I was going through this, but while the first nozzle isn't bad, the more high-powered one absolutely does a better job. I even went over some of the parts that I used the normal one on just to see the difference, and the high-powered one cleans it even better. So it's been a few hours, and I let all the water dry because I wanted to give you guys a really good view of the before, which you can see right here, the part of our video where we did not use the pressure washer, and then the after, which you see here, which is mostly that really high powered pressure washer that we put on second. It's called the turbo nozzle. So This thing does a really good job. And if you had any doubts on which nozzle to use where, you could see that high-powered turbo nozzle that we used. Secondly, you should only be used on concrete, brick, and masonry because it's so strong. Everything else, you want to go with the 15-degree nozzle, which is the orange one that we attached first, because you don't want to mess up your siding, your gutters, your fencing, your lawn equipment. If you're going to spray down some outdoor furniture or pillows, any kind of cloth, you want to go with that 15-degree one as well. Let's talk about the far right column with the soap application, which I don't know if I will ever use, but I want to talk through it with you guys to make sure you understand. All right, so let's talk about the soap applicator that came in the box as we showcased at the beginning of the video. You can use soap or detergent with your power washer, but just make sure you can't use Dawn or some random detergent in your house. You have to use power washer specific soap or detergent. You just twist the top off, pour your liquid in, put the top back on, twist back, grab your trigger handle, and by the way, make sure you're heating to all the safety things that we talked about. The water's off, your unit power is off, and your unit is not plugged in. Give this a little squeeze just to make sure there's no water left in it from a previous use. Engage your lockout just in case. And then we are going to take off our wand, and we're just going to twist this to the right, push in and twist, and it should pop right out like that. Grab our soap applicator and put in the same way that we put in our wand earlier, because again, it's going to have those two plastic pieces on the side that fit right in the trigger. So I'm gonna put that in and twist like so, and then you will have this contraption set up so that you are able to use your soap applicator with whatever application you would like to. Once you get this all set up and you pull the trigger, the soap will start flowing. Give it about 5 seconds or so before you actually see the soap and water mix on whatever application you are spraying. One more functional thing here as we start to wrap things up. Ryobi does suggest adding pump protectant to your pressure washer after every use. Now, I don't have any pump protectant. When I get some and use it with my pressure washer, I will make a video of it, but you simply connect the bottle that you have to the inlet right here. Obviously, the hose will be removed, and the other side, this hose should be removed too. When it's connected here, you simply squeeze the trigger on the bottle, and once the liquid starts to come out the other side, your pump is protected. All right, if you haven't guessed already, this fits perfectly for what I need. Like I said at the outset of the video, I wasn't looking for a gas pressure washer with 2,500 or 3,500 PSI. I'm not a contractor, or I'm not doing something hardcore around the house all the time that I need that much juice behind me. I just need to wash off my patio every once in a while, use it to wash the cars, get some grit off of those, maybe clean up a mailbox post, maybe wash the sidewalk leading up to our house, even do some of the outdoor cushions, some of the outdoor furniture that we have as well. And this more than fits the bill for me. Absolutely a buy. Check out the link in the description if you want to purchase this as well. Thanks for watching, everybody.